Oh, what's up, Philadelphia sports fans? I am Anthony Pinto.
And I'm Keith Malashevsky.
Welcome to the War Room. We are War Room Philly. Keith, I'm a little tired. I'm a little wired. And I am just happy that football is back. Shout out to Nick Cage. Right. Good evening, Joe. I got to pull you up on my phone so I'm not staring at my screen and I can look at the camera. Still getting used. I'm going to get a third. I'm either going to get a third monitor or I'm going to bring in the laptop for chat. But the laptop, I think, is just going to come back and we're going to get the dual PC and we're going to do it like real professional like.
You know, like we do.
But yeah, it's football season. We are 2 days away. Here as it's live, it's Tuesday. YouTubers or vodcasts. It'll be Wednesday when you see this. So tomorrow is football. But as far as us tonight and in the moment, we're 2 days away. And honestly, like that'll be like the appetizer or the veggie tray. But Sunday. It's all about Sunday. It's all about Sunday for more than, if not for anything, the Eagles play Sunday. But more than that, it's just that's when you get the whole smorgasbord of the games. Just everything is laid out. It's the first week of fantasy football, so you're excited for that. Everyone's 0-0 right now on their fantasy squads, so there's high hopes. Still no trades done in our league preseason. Which always is, that's a bad sign. Usually the trades are happening right after the draft. I know I've made one to just about everybody. No one accepted. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me, and Keith, you're included in this.
I know I am.
No one has sent a counter offer. That's all. If my offer is crazy, send me a counter offer just as crazy, and then we can work into the middle ground.
I'm one of those. I'm an oddity person. See, with my fantasy stuff, I like to draft my people and hold on to it.
But that doesn't make sense to me, especially when I look at your roster, Keith. No disrespect, but Keith drafted 2 quarterbacks before I drafted 1, and some could argue that I got the better one. No, Mahomes that's a tight pickup. Actually, I had Lamar Jackson on my draft board, and then you picked him, so I had a quick scramble. And
that was kind of my strategy. I figured I was going to screw up a couple people because in our league,
what you do is you screw up yourself because you can't play 2 quarterbacks and you have no running backs. And in our league, more than anything, you need to have running backs. I would argue
I'll get one.
I would argue I have 4 running backs better than all yours, but that's trash talk. Everyone knows that.
I mean, that's probably true.
Everyone knows that. No, it's totally not. I'm just that that's why I followed it up. That's trash talk. No, but it's I have a lot of, like, we'll call it B and C list people on my team as far as running backs. So it's listen, it's not pretty, but I think I have a pretty good team. Elsewhere, I think I drafted my best team this past Sunday. Yeah. Oh yeah, is that your dynasty league? I know that's the one you care about.
That's actually I do care about that one.
That's the one you care about the most, and I don't take that as a slight to our league,
slight.
By the way.
No, it's just because it's been going on for over a decade at this point. So it's a lot. But what it actually was a brand new league. It was actually like my theater friends with one Kevin Christian and a lot of our common theater people. We did a league with them. And it's I went very balanced, and I liked it. So I'm feeling pretty good in that league. That's an 8-team league, so people are stacked. But I think I have the best stack.
You know what I'm actually feeling pretty good about, Keith?
What's that?
The move that the 76ers made today.
It's a good move. It's a good, solid move.
Montrezl Harrell, 2 years. And as long as he stays out of you're in PA, you can get yourself a medical card. Don't get into that marijuana trafficking. Just smoke your medical and be good with it. As long as he stays out of trouble, this is a great deal for the Sixers. You sign, and there's a common theme, and tonight is about the Eagles, and tonight's about the Phillies. But that's why we're just going to kick it off with the Sixers, get them in, get them out.
Yeah, we're just going to knock this out.
Just want to make sure, if chat's active and I sleep on them, Keith, if you could let me know. I got them up on my phone. I know it was active before I pulled them up on my phone. But yeah, just wanna make sure we're good with that. But as far as this move goes, Montrezl Harrell, I mean, shout out to an incredible armchair GM by the name of Anthony Pinto, who last year, whilst playing NBA 2K22, made this exact move and brought Montrezl Harrell to the 76ers. Because even then, I saw that this is a good move. Montrezl Harrell he's on the shorter side, but he's not small. He plays bigger than his size. He's going to be, and this is another. Let me finish one thought, and we'll get into another. But he kind of fits into a role where it looks like this team is they're going to be able to win games without Joel Embiid by playing a different style of basketball. With PJ Tucker, with Montrezl Harrell, they can go small and win Embiid. I think they're gonna, and this is something that I've preached a few times. The Sixers need to learn how to be a good team and then insert Joel Embiid into it. And I think that this is something that could potentially go towards that. More on the nights where Embiid is not playing. Now you have that guy to fill in. Yeah, you have that as well, and then you have Paul Reed, who can still kind of come in and off. He'll probably be in and off as far as the reserves now potentially. But I think this puts
if he does improve, he does, what everybody's saying they want him to do, then maybe he grows into that ahead of Harris. But for now, I feel good.
Joe says, can he be like Drummond? I would argue that he can be better than Drummond. I got to pull up the age.
I would agree.
I got to pull up the age.
Look, and I'm with Joe in the sense of I always like trying to develop people, but at the same time, as a championship contender, having Harris as your primary backup to start the season, as opposed to Reed, who we don't really know if he can be that guy. We're hoping that, and that's great. But more to kind of what I was saying, if you see that stretch happen, well, then you can go ahead and make those adjustments. But I like having Harris in the fold here to be able to fill out that bench, because that's what you need to go deep in the playoffs. You need a deep team.
Yeah. And Harrell is 28. So again, I would say at the stages that they're at in their careers, I would say that Montrezl Harrell has a chance to be better than Drummond. And I also think that Harrell will be here for, I think he'll be here for more than a half season, which, then would argue that would make him better too. But again, Drummond was traded because of how successful he was. And I would say that's why he was not drafted, but signed here. So I think that this
Harrell's not a world breaker, but I mean, he's a former six man that knows how to play off the bench and be effective.
Yeah, 1 and 6 man of the year under Doc Rivers with the Clippers. So you're getting big impact off the bench, and that's, I mean,
yeah, like you said, he's 28, so he's younger than Drummond was, so he still theoretically has more in the tank.
James Harden's going to have to shoot in elimination games, and he's going to have to make shots as well. Tobias Harris, if he plays like he did in the playoffs, we good. Maxi's going to have to continue to grow. This still comes down to a lot of things, right? But if all of that, stays true, all of those things, everything else is, we were just mentioning last season, was the bench needs to get better. The bench needs to get better. Going into this season, I think that the bench has got better. Much like the entire Eagles roster has got better.
Yeah.
And you could kind of say that the Phillies bench, this year, they need more on the bench, and they tied it up a little bit in the with Sosa at the deadline, but you're kind of seeing now that there's some thinness in that organization, and that's kind of what's leading to where we are now. But is there any other final thoughts on the Sixers, Keith? I don't want to just
No. I think I think it was actually a good segue, like you said. Seeing the depth on the Sixers is great. And I love to see what's going to happen to them as we get into the later into the fall and into the winter. But shifting our sight to the Eagles a little bit, seeing that team get deep is important. Seeing the Phillies get deep has been important. and getting some people back, and then we're losing others. So it's that depth that no matter which team we're talking about is going to be key to like our general happiness as the fall gets here. Let's be real, as fans, our general happiness rests on the depth on each team.
Yeah, and with that, it's, you were talking about depth, and it's the lack of depth right now that is, after injuries, kind of decimating the Phillies.
Yep.
And look, am I worried that the Phillies are going to miss the playoffs? No. Am I happy with how they are playing right now? No. I say this: if they lose 2 out of 3 or get swept by the Marlins, I'll start pressing the panic button. But from what I saw, and I haven't looked in a few innings. Nola was pitching all right, but he was running into kind of a long inning as I turned it off. I don't know how that is. It still 1-1. That's a good sign.
Still 1-1. End of the 5th.
You gotta they have to take care of the Marlins. They've done it all year, but now it's September. Continue to do it. Again, I'm not my biggest cause for not panicking about the Phillies is the teams behind them. So as long as they can right the ship, I think they're going to make the playoffs. And all in all, this season, my motto was I just want to make the playoffs. Like, give me something to be happy about. Making the playoffs would be that. So once they get to the playoffs, I will analyze this team and pick them apart, one by one. But right now, I'm just kind of looking at this season and this stretch going into it, and I'm just trying to stay positive and not rip what's left of my hair out. And it's just, at this point, I look at the Brewers, I look at the teams behind them, and I just, the Giants might make a surge now and look like they're going to be relevant for a bit, but we broke down the schedules for both teams last week. I don't see enough in either of those teams to really worry me. And if it gets to the point where I have to get there, I will. Right now, I don't have to be there, so I don't want to be there, and I'm not going to be there. I don't know about you, Keith.
Listen, I feel good about the Phillies going down the stretch like I do. And I don't know how much this is going to key up with you and how much it won't, but I'm going to say everything anyway. I feel positive. I feel positive because, yes, in years past, they have collapsed down the stretch. They've collapsed much earlier than this in other years. And, yes, we're seeing a little bit where it's happening. They're sputtering. But, right now we have, Sir Anthony is back to get a simulated inning, which feels great. Zach Eflin, I know that, he's up and down, but he might be a long reliever in the playoffs, which could come in handy. Because with you, I'm with you in the sense that I'm not feeling too bullish on the Brewers, who sold away a lot of their good pieces to other teams at the deadline. So I feel like that's really the only person who really could catch them, and I don't think they will. So I feel like a playoff will happen. As far as Zach Wheeler, which is the biggest piece that we need to go, we got a little bit of time, but he's got a throwing program, so I'm seeing promise there. So I guess what I'm seeing is they're getting close to seeing some of these pieces that they really do need back. And that would be huge down the stretch. And that would, I just want to see them in the playoffs. Like, I know that sounds like desperate, because it is.
Dude, it's been long enough. It's been, like I know it's been since 2012 since they've made it, but really even that year you kind of knew you didn't have high hopes. No. 2011
was the last time we had hopes.
I was gonna say that was the year that Doc threw the perfect or the no-hitter in the playoffs, right? Or was that the year before? Was that
correct, against the Reds? Okay. I think it was against the Reds, and then in that series after that might have been 2010. But regardless, Doc was still good, and in fact, you're getting to it in that game, like 1-0. Like, that's it. And Raul Banya's hit the longest fly ball of my life. And it was disappointing. And I just want to see Phillies playoff baseball. Just get that experience. I'm not even asking for you to win a series. Just get there.
We might not even get a Red October, right? Like, they may never ever come home this season, but just get there. Let's get a little celebration. And then next year, we'll really put the heat on them. But, again, and if anybody wants to butcher Keith and I or Phillies fans as a fan base for the way that we feel here, I hear
That's fine.
I would get
I get it.
But like honestly, that's again, and it's just I'm a big believer of positive thoughts, positive actions. So it's like I don't want to think about the negative until it's here, and then I'll talk about it and acknowledge it. But for now, let's just have some fun, and let's just hope that we can turn this into a playoff series, and then let's go from there. Again, the panic button, I got it out. It's dusty. I don't intend on cleaning it up. Probably gonna put it back away. But like,
Joe's still feeling those Flyer vibes. That's what's happening in the chat. Joe's feeling the Flyer vibes.
If for whatever reason, now he acknowledged that they were gonna make the playoffs still, and that's all I needed. We can talk about all of the negative things as long as he gave us one positive thing, and
that's fine.
I acknowledged it through chat. I said I needed that positivity, and we'll still give you credit for the blow up if it happens. But let's just not talk about that. Let's just talk about them getting into the playoffs. And then again, when they get into the playoffs, especially if they're playing like how they're playing, we will rip them to shreds on how they're playing. But right now, let's just try to get to the playoffs. And again, the panic button. What turns it? What makes us slap onto that panic? If they get swept by the Marlins this series, if Sir Anthony Dominguez and if if Zach Wheeler's injury, if those injuries,
you invoke the name of Chris Wheeler.
I do that so frequently on this show. It hurts my brain. It's camera energy. Even after we've been doing this since 2011, 11 years, and I still get that camera energy. But Zach Wheeler and like if these injuries, if they're more serious than we're being led on to believe, then maybe that panic button gets slammed down. But for right now, from what we're told and from all things and from schedules, everything as Phillies fans should lead us to believe that we're gonna turn things around and get into the playoffs. And that's kind of what I tend to believe. I'm not one of these like people behind a microphone that's like salivating. Oh, I hope Nova I hope Nola sucks. September, I hope Nova so I have something to talk about. Like the fun things are the positive things are much more fun to talk about here at War Room Philly. So I'm not invoking September negativity for Nola because I think I kept it for someone like it's funny because I was like the Wentz guy, and I think people kind of label me as a Nola hater. Correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, but I think I've been more than positive about Aaron Nola all year.
I'll say preseason, you were starting to get in that hater category, and then during the season, you're like, okay.
I think last season I was pretty good, and then he had the September, and then I kind of like reverted. But yeah, this year I don't know. As long as my memory serves, I think I've been pretty good. But
during the year you've been very supportive. And that's been a nice change, and I've enjoyed it.
I think Nolan because I say really since the addition of Wheeler, I've been. It doesn't matter if Nola is or isn't an ace because you have Wheeler, and I think between them you have an ace. You could argue you have two aces. You could argue you have. I think between them, and I mean that since like as a combo, as a team, one or the other usually steps up and they're the ace. So between them you have an ace, and also between them you have two very good starters, two number ones.
That's why they're like one A, 1B type deal where they're not necessarily always like ace, but they are top. They're
Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin in their prime.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. There's a couple of years for the Eagles where you're like, well, they're not because of their size. They're not the true number one, especially at that time. But, it's like, we'll tell you they're kind of both number ones. It was like a lot of people said would use the 1A, 1B thing. So
that's exactly what I was thinking about when I said it. By the way,
yeah. So again, it's as far as this, this team goes now, it's just a matter of Ranger Suarez is collapsing. Like we need him to, we need the real Ranger Suarez to please stand up because, correct me if I'm wrong, he did this last year too. I think he had a pretty big September collapse, like worse than Nola collapsed last year in September. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think
Maybe he was injured.
You'll have to ask Greg Hall that.
I'd have to look it up. Off my memories, I got too many other things on my mind right now. But, Kyle Gibson's been kind of your, like, weirdly steady hand.
Yeah.
Same with
Well,
Syndergaard. Syndergaard, it's like, you're going to
both
bring
those 3-4 guys,
when Syndergaard's on the mound that you're going to have to bring the bats and score at least 3 to 5 runs, but he's going to go out there and battle through, anytime Syndergaard gives you 5 or more, he's done his job. And that's pretty much what you get when you sign or when you're out of your fifth starter. So Syndergaard has been a welcomed addition. And now it's just time for everyone to kind of refine their roles, because I think you got people that are tired and that probably need to sit down for a little bit and maybe even grab the DH, which means maybe Bryce has to sit out for a game or at least sit the bench, which I know is kind of hard to do. But right now it's like we're in the midst where the Phillies need to be winning games, but also getting the bench engaged. And by doing that, you rest people, like Keith just said. So it's about load management. I know that's everybody's least favorite word, but you got to win games more than anything.
So that might have contributed to Castellanos' injury. You know what I mean? He's on the IL now until at least the 13th, and maybe that was a not getting enough rest type deal, because we've been kind of strapped, like you said, with Harper out. With our limited options in outfield as it is, it's been a very difficult to get any of them rest. So maybe this is good. Maybe this is good getting kind of in the rhythm to get some people some rest. And, if you take some games like tonight where you fight it through, that helps you down the stretch.
Yeah, guys like Schwarber and Castellanos were signed here to platoon at DH, and they've been in the field every day. And really, to their credits, have been out there just about every day. But I think part of that is showing at this time, and it couldn't have come at the worst time. And again, these aren't excuses, by the way. Like if these injuries and all this adds up and this ends in not making the playoffs, there will be hell to pay. But we'll get there if and when we have to. But yeah, anything else on the Phillies? I'm gonna check and see where we're at in the game.
Oh, we're at a good point. We're at still 1-1 at the bottom of the sixth. I haven't chased either starter from the game yet. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep them up on one of my tabs, one of my several thousand tabs that I have up in front of me now.
I'm forced to watch the game cast while we're
I now more than ever, we're now only having 2 screens, at least temporarily. I got the game cast on, but yeah, okay. So Phillies are up to the bat. All right, well, let's see. All right, so then we'll monitor the Phillies, and we'll kind of come back to them if by some chance they happen to end. But I highly doubt they'll be over by the time we're done the show.
Probably not. Yeah.
As my throat is really betraying me already. But yeah, as far as any other Phillies thoughts then, Keith? Did I just ask you that? I may have asked you that.
No, you didn't. But I think it's time to move towards what we're all kind of here for, what we want to talk about, what we all been, dare I say, frothing at the mouth for a few months. It's time to talk some football, Anthony.
Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more with you this year. It's going to be a fun season, at least I hope. There's a lot on the line this year for the Eagles. Depth wise, it's the deepest this team has been since the Super Bowl season. Talent wise, I would say the same thing. It just comes down to the ceiling of the quarterback. In the Super Bowl season with Carson Wentz, he was on an MVP pace. And for Nick Foles, at least most in particular during the Super Bowl, his ceiling was at the highest that it could have ever been.
Yeah.
I don't know that Jalen Hurts can ever reach that height, and that's kind of what this season comes down to. It's can and the thing about Hurts and Nick Foles are both of them you can kind of coach the same style. With Nick Foles, and this is why I tend to have a little bit more faith in Hurts than maybe I would have in years past. But Nick Foles showed you, and teams now are showing you that you can kind of have a game manager as long as they're a playmaking game manager. And with Nick Foles, he made plays with his arm, and in the case of Jalen Hurts, he can make plays with his legs. And in today's NFL, can that be effective? We will find out. I tell you one thing though, the Eagles' odds in the East are looking better and better as the days go by.
Better. I'm enjoying it.
So we got a lot as far as that goes. I'm trying to read chat and talk at the same time. But yeah, as far as Jalen Hurts goes, pretty much everyone, including Jalen Hurts, knows what this year is. It's you win this year, or you're going to be probably playing for another city.
Oh, definitely.
It's pretty clear cut. So, we'll kind of see as far as that goes. And the big thing about this and the dream team thing is no one has came out and said anything stupid about this team, really. Most players are kind of on the the like we'll see when we get out there kind of thing. And the dream team thing is so stupid. Like, just only Philadelphia would still bring up that.
Everybody loves to talk about it.
A quote was brought up by a backup quarterback. Gardner Minshew says absolutely nothing, like a backup quarterback should. So, I just think that, while this team might not have like a Super Bowl ceiling, and, if they fall, it's going to be more than likely because of a lot of injuries, not because of just putrid play. But
this could still be a feel-good season, though. Like, that's what I'm here for, and I know you are too. It doesn't have to be. It hinges on Jalen Hurts, like you said. If he does well, listen, easily one of the best teams in the league. If he struggles, we are a middle team in the league because yes, we have a good defense, we have good pieces to our offense. We have depth all around that we got a little weaker. We have had the injury to Andre Dillard, having the a non-displacement fracture, and it may or may not be season ending. We'll see, but he'll be out for a while. That was a nice piece of depth, but we have a lot of promise, and obviously odds makers see it as we are now the favorite to win the NFC East this year. And for me, I'm good with that. I'm on the same kind of hype train because I'm feeling good about it. Because even if we get Jalen Hurts of last year, we're probably still a playoff team, but I would prefer an improvement.
Yeah, I agree. And another thing too, just like another reason, like this schedule, it's like easier by the, like every time I look at it, it feels easier, and maybe I'm wrong. And this next point I'm going to make, I could definitely be wrong on, and I might look really stupid at the end of the year, but I think we're looking at a depleted NFC. I think when I look around at like the teams at the NFC, I look and I see the teams that are supposed to be at the top, and I can pull up the odds. Buccaneers are the top team in the NFC. Green Bay Packers are the second. Los Angeles Rams are the third. 49ers are the fourth. Like, this is according to CBS Sports. Like, we're in
a time of transition in the NFC, is what it is.
I don't Like
The
again,
AFC went through this transition a few years ago, and now you have those powerhouse teams. This is what's happened. NFC, I'm with you.
I could look really stupid by the end of the year, but like the Buccaneers and Packers seem like teams that are ready to collapse. The Rams are. I just don't know that the Rams can do what they did last year. I don't know that Matthew Stafford has that run in him again. And again, I could look really stupid, but on that note as well. I probably have.
Look, they added Bobby Wagner. They still added like a good receiver core. I don't know if they'll collapse. I feel like the Rams are still going to be up there, but that's fine.
That's a team that I just don't know. I'm a Stafford hater. Let me say that, and this is why I'm willing to eat a lot of the words, a lot of my.
I love Stafford, so that's exactly why I'm going the way I do.
I love. I will eat all of these. I could really look stupid on how I'm engaging the NFC by the end of the year, but I just see teams that are on the rise, and I see teams that are, I think, crumbling fast. I think the Buccaneers and the Packers are. I know for the fact one of those teams are going to crumble this year, if not both.
Look, the three you just named are the three that you could make a clear case are better than the Eagles. Those are the three teams. Other than that, you have arguments all around as to why they are not better than the Birds. That's just how I feel. Even with the Cowboys, like putting them under a microscope, like not having Tyron Smith, like that's huge. That's big for me. Like I just don't see them being as good as they were last year, and that there's key points that are there weak on the roster. The Saints, do we know what they're going to have the quarterback position just as much as the Eagles? Yes, I understand that Winston was having a good year, but then he tore his ACL. So, what is Trey Lance going to be? Kyler Murray always falls apart. Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. I don't see any other clear-cut, I guess, arguments as far as better than the Eagles and those three teams you named. And those will be the people that are a little bit challenging. Otherwise, I feel like the NFC is a bunch of what ifs.
Do you have your NFC division winners by chance?
I do. We can do this if you want to go division by division.
I was gonna say, if you just like free flowing off of your conversation, like what you were just saying, if you have your NFC, like your division winners, if you want to rattle them off real quick.
Oh yeah.
I'll go ahead. I'm into it. I'm into the Keith segment here.
I'm actually I'm picking the Eagles to win our division. That's just where I'm at with this. And that we've gone back and forth about, how we feel about the division, how the Cowboys are close. I think we do take it because I do believe in Jalen Hurts to keep moving. I believe in how he did to improve the team. When we go to the South, I think without question, it's still going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they'll stay in position. Even if TB12 starts to see the wheel of Father Time turn against him, I think it's still enough for them to win the division because the Atlanta Falcons are a bad team, and they did that. They know that. They know exactly what they did with trading away Matt. Ryan.
Can I pause you real quick?
Yeah, it's fine.
I wanted so bad to pick the Panthers to win this division, but I didn't.
I know you did. I know you did.
Go ahead. Go back. Go.
The Panthers are on the rise now. I think they're getting closer, but I just don't think that they're quite there. And the Saints, I just don't believe in. I
don't know why. I never liked Baker Mayfield until the Browns traded him.
It's because you need to hate the Browns because the Browns is a trash organization. They do all the wrong things.
It's really not. I don't know why, but something about that. I don't know. I don't know.
Probably about the guy that replaced him, but I digress.
No, for me, it was. I think. Oh no, that did happen before. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but yeah, just something about. I was always on the fence on him, and it's like, oh, the Browns got rid of him. Now just to prove because the Browns are gonna Brown. It's
the storyline we all want. It really is.
And remember, there was those few weeks where I was talking about like the Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts thing, and that was unpopular, so we went away from that. But yeah, what up, Murph? y'all are sleeping on the card. Hey, we haven't even let us give our
Wait,
picks.
I haven't talked about
But
the West yet,
but go ahead, Keith.
but
Let's
spoiler.
let's go. Everything that I have is written down too. So if let's say he said something about the Cards and I, you know, maybe have them going far. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe he would look silly.
Never know. Never know.
But
No, I'm on. So that was the South. I picked the Buccaneers. The West, I've already stated it. I think the LA Rams just are still too good, even if Stafford takes a step back from what he was. That defense has only gotten better. I know they lost Von Miller, but adding Bobby Wagner is a huge deal. That's a huge deal. That takes away the middle of the field. Like Aaron Donald, and behind Aaron Donald is Bobby Wagner. Yeah, I'm good with that. And I understand why somebody on the Cardinals, Murph going there, why they would go with that, because, Kyler Murray, maybe he actually does what he's supposed to do down the stretch. D-Hop's coming back after 6 games. You got, a good team. The defense I feel all right with, but I don't know, man. I just don't believe in them. I can't put my finger on it. I just don't believe in them. We know the Seahawks are trash. And I think the San Francisco 49ers, Trey Lance just isn't ready that leap to be the division winning team. That's just me in the West.
Do you want to give your wild card picks, or you want me to hop in?
I was like, I didn't even go over the North yet, so that's really.
Oh, that's my bad. That's a false start. That's the first.
No, well, you kind of were talking about
year.
the South Group, and then yeah,
that's the first flag of the year. That's my first false start. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Finish. Well, here's. Are you going to give your wild card picks too? Did you pick them? Because I did, and that's
I'll give my wild card.
I was going to say, all right, then I'll let you rattle off everything. Then I'll go NFC, and then we'll go AFC.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then for the North, I did pick the Green Bay Packers as far as what I was saying in conversation as the team that I felt was better. But at the same time, I think the Minnesota Vikings are actually going to take this division. I actually do. Because like you said, it's got to be decline in one of those teams, right? And if you're going to take decline, I'm going to take the team that decided to trade away their number 1 receiver. I don't care about who they drafted. He's not as good as Devonta Adams. It's just not. It's not the same.
Keith likes the addition of Jalen Reagor to the Vikings. That's all I'm hearing.
I was waiting for it.
Dude, you loaded that. My tongue.
I know.
You loaded that gun.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
No, I actually, by the way, I'm trying to figure out where I can put something on this, but I think that Jalen Reagor is actually going to fumble the ball when he plays us. I just had this weird feeling about it. But I digress, as we do best. Chicago Bears, I just can't trust them. They're a joke of an organization. Detroit Lions, I think they are getting better. I just don't think that they are going to challenge either of the other 2 teams. And that's why I feel the way I do as far as that goes. Your wild card teams, I am going to pick the Dallas Cowboys to make the wild card. They still have enough talent that I can't ignore that CeeDee Lamb is damn good. They have a 1-2 punch with Zeke. And the backfield in general, is a very good backfield. And then, of course, Dak, as much as I wanted to always give him crap, he's a very good quarterback. Came back last year, proved he was being a good quarterback when healthy, and we're good with that. I'm fine with that. I still think the Eagles take the division, like I said, but they're going to be one of the wild cards. The other wild card team I see is the Green Bay Packers there. I think they actually are the wild card team. And there's a third wild card team now, right?
Just the 2. I think.
There's 2. They've been talking about adding another one. That's why I was. But that's my 2 wild cards. So.
Yeah.
My NFC pick.
The second one, the newest one was the second one, and that was the more recent edition.
That's what it is.
The third one I think was MLB. Maybe
yeah, there we go.
I just wanted to make okay.
So many wild card teams, man.
I feel you.
Phillies are up 2-1, by the way, in
we take
after the 6th.
So that was that your wild card then? Okay.
That was my wild card.
I'm doing
Was
something. I'm
for the
doing
Cowboys and the
something.
Packers.
I'm doing something right now because my record for the Eagles this year is 11-6, and I'm coming up with it right now. Who's gonna win the NFC East? Um, let's see here. Oh,
I mean, I'm going positive, which is really what we're going with here. Because I mean, I could see a world where, like I said, Jalen Hurts doesn't do what we need him to do, and then we're at the bottom of the division. But that's my positive take. I'm being positive today. Figure Joe can handle the negative for me.
all right. I have the Cowboys losing 7 games, so that'll give the Eagles the division lead. So my NFC East winners will be the Philadelphia Eagles because right before this show, I did my updated take. At the beginning of the season, or my mock draft 1.0, I said the Eagles would be 10-7 team, and that will get them into the playoffs. Um, Looking at both teams and both rosters and the additions that the Eagles have made versus signing a washed up Hall of Famer, in what the Cowboys are doing. Um, I like the Eagles by one more game now than the Cowboys, so that has shifted me. That's merely all. I still.
It is 3 wild cards, by the way.
Oh, my bad. Okay, I don't know what
Yep.
I literally
Joe, you and I were on the same page.
I literally
Yeah.
looked it up right beforehand, and Google told me too, but I guess that was from last year. So thank you. Thank you for correcting me, and we could pick one more. So then, so just looking at it, I think that the Eagles will win this division by a very close margin. Dak Prescott is by far and away the best quarterback in this division. And you can't say that about the Eagles team. Like, the Eagles probably have the best roster in the division, but it's probably. They're not by far and away the best roster in the division.
I think you could argue they're a top 3 roster in the NFC.
You could argue that, and I'm not like I get that, but it's still a lot of it comes down to the quarterback too. So that makes everything a wild card. And let's also not like, while health is a big factor for every team, when people have a history of health problems too, that makes things a little bit more tenuous. So as far as this the race is close. Like, I'm not discrediting the Cowboys by any means. I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys do end up winning this division. But I think that it's when you look at it honestly, the Cowboys have a harder schedule. The Eagles don't have to face teams like this. The Eagles, they played the Buccaneers last year. The Buccaneers, Bengals, Giants, Commanders, easy ones, but Rams, Eagles, Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings, all back to back too. Like, you play the whole division just right at once. Even Colts, Texans, Jaguars, like that division feels harder than who are than some of the teams that the Eagles are getting. So Titans as well at the back end of the schedule. The Cowboys just feel like their matchups are less favorable than the Eagles, and that's why I give the Eagles the nod. Just going into it, looking at everything, that's kind of where I stand. But I'm seeing some things. Let me see. I don't want to. We got from
Mostly
Joe.
good. Yeah.
From Joe, Vikings, Bucks, Cowboys, Rams, Bills, Bengals, Titans, Raiders. I see Murph. Murph says Eagles, Saints, Packers, Rams, Cowboys, Vikings, 49ers. But yeah, so to give my division picks, I'm going to go Eagles, Packers, Bucks, Cardinals. Wild cards, Cowboys, Rams, and do I want to take the Vikings, or do I want to go with the Panthers?
You want to go with the
I
Panthers.
want
You
to go
want
with the
Baker.
Panthers. You're right, Keith. I'm taking the Panthers. I hate the
Let's say,
Vikings.
come on.
Screw Kirk Cousins. Foles. So yeah, I'm going. I'll go. Panthers as and man, my NFC like, I'm taking a risk with my NFC, right, guys? So we can all laugh at me at the end of the year, but that's where I'm going. I'm taking 3 huge risks, and you'll see what the other 2 are shortly. But the Panthers making the playoffs, I would say, that's you could laugh at me at the end of the year if and when that doesn't come true. But and I'm going to jump the lead on this one. For my NFC Championship game, and I'm springing this one on Keith too, which is another reason why I'm jumping it. But I circled my Final Four, and I'll leave the AFC up for when we talk about the AFC. I circled my Final Four, and I picked the Cardinals to go, so I'm not sleeping on them by any means, Joe. And in fact, I think the NFC Championship game this year is going to be the Battle of the Birds, the Cardinals versus the Eagles, and I've made Keith uncomfortable.
Bringing back like uncomfortable memories.
I'm doubling down. I think something crazy is going to happen in the NFC this year. I think there's a changing of the tide. I don't know that it's going to be
uncomfortable memories.
I highly doubt it's going to be both of these teams, but I'm taking a shot, and we'll see how it works out.
The last time it didn't work out for us.
That's okay. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl. And this is
no, I'm just saying that's why I'm uncomfortable.
This is merely a statement of what I think of the NFC, and I could be very wrong. And make fun of me for it if I am. That's okay.
So look,
it's good. That's good.
I'm going to agree with you on a level here. Which, by the way, did you give all your wild cards? Don't pick the
Eagles. You're not picking the Eagles, are you?
No. Hold on a second. Did you go through all your wild cards?
Yeah, I did. The Panthers is my third one.
All 3? Okay, yeah. My third one, the one that I'm going to go with on that one, was going to be the Cardinals, which is kind of funny. I actually was not going Cardinals, Eagles, but I did actually think the Eagles have a very good chance of making the championship game. I still don't think they make it, and I think we are at a point where we'll be very disappointed because we will see the Los Angeles Rams go back to the Super Bowl. Like that's what I see.
Okay. So you got Rams who?
Rams Birds in the championship game.
I said you can't pick the Birds that go in the champ. All right, then I withdraw my pick because I'm not doing that. I did it. I wanted to do it first so that I could take the homer pick, and you can do
it. Well, yeah, it's fine. So, I was gonna, but I can take a second. Listen, if I'm not allowed to, then I'll go. Then I'll go.
No, I'll go be the homer. You always are, Keith. That's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
No, you go ahead. I was gonna say because Rams.
You love Jalen Hurts. I'll hate Jalen Hurts all year. That's fine.
Well, you were going to anyway. It's fine.
You did this.
Maybe I'll change it and be the Carolina Panthers with my third pick. No, I'm kidding.
Then I think it's going to be the Cardinals Packers. And I'm only going with one team, and we'll let Keith be the homer.
But if I'm not going that, it'll be Bucs Rams.
And I can't have any fun ever.
Well, that's your usual attitude anyway. So it's fine.
I know, and that's why I wanted to change things, and I wanted to be the homer this season, but you won't let me. So that's okay.
I'm saying
I agree with you, Joe. The Eagles aren't. I'm with you, Joe. The Eagles aren't winning a playoff game. Keith's an idiot. No, we like to have fun here. No, but my picks, and just in general, I think there's a changing of the tide in the NFC, and we'll see where it is. I have no idea how to predict it, which is why I threw.
But we do have we do have all the AFC to still go through.
But yeah, no. Tell me your AFC picks.
Okay, I was gonna let you go first, given that I did the NFC first. I was gonna let you go and pick unless you need me to go first, and then I will.
I got all my notes. I'm ready.
Go for it then.
My 4 picks for division winners, and I'll just rattle through them because nobody cares about the AFC.
Yeah, whatever.
Everyone knows the Bills are going to win that division this year. That's like not even fun. It's like everyone's pick to go to the Super Bowl too. The Bills are going to probably take that division pretty easily. I think the Dolphins and the Patriots are trash, and that's only to be trumped by how trash the Jets are. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Again, maybe I'm wrong on that division. The Dolphins are kind of like a trendy, playoff team pick as well. AFC North is, I think, going to be a little challenging. I think the Steelers and the Browns are probably going to see themselves out of that division race pretty early on, but they'll beat some teams. I think that division's coming down to the Bengals and the Ravens. I think both of those guys make the playoffs, but I take the Bengals over them. AFC South, it's a crapshoot. You can throw all of their names in and pick one out, and that's what I did. And I picked Doug Peterson's Jaguars because it's probably going to be the Titans, but I want it to be different, so I went with the Jaguars. And AFC West. AFC West is kind of the same thing, except opposite.
The opposite way. I was actually just thinking that.
They're all pretty good. The Broncos are, back in relevancy, at least they hope, with Russell Wilson. The Raiders are hoping to cling on to that relevancy as, they've hitched their wagon to Derek Carr.
That's about Adams.
The Chiefs are, they have Patrick Mahomes. They have one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the game. They have one of, if not the best head coach in the game. So they're a force to be reckoned with. And the Chargers, I think, are a pretty, they're a pretty good bet if you're looking at odds and want to make some money on a Super Bowl pick. So that is a tough division. I think you're probably getting 3 playoff teams in this division. You're at least getting 2. Nah, you're definitely getting 2 out of the North. I think the Ravens are gonna be there. It's a tough one, but I think that that will go to the Chiefs. But I think the Chargers will be really close behind them. And I think next year will be the year that the Chargers are when you're picking the Chargers potentially to win that division. We'll see. But that also hinges a lot on quarterback play. And then my wild cards will be the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Broncos.
Okay. All right. I will say this. I was going to roll through the first one, which is the Buffalo Bills. We're 100% on the same page here. We're talking about the same language here with the AFC North. I think the Bengals take that. I just love Joe Burrow. He's one of the guys that I just absolutely love. Not that I think the Ravens are going to do poorly, but I think the Bengals will just be just better. I think Burrow and Jamar Chase take another step forward. And I love that team. The South, I don't think it's as bad as you're painting to be. I think it is not a good division. I don't know if it is the worst division in football, but it's possible. It's possible. It really has a lot of too many questions on each team, except for maybe the Titans. But
AFC East is the worst division in football. I correct myself.
Okay, that's fair. But I'm going to take the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts from the South because I think Matt Ryan makes enough of a difference on a good overall team that the Colts are. Jonathan Taylor being there is a vital part of that. And I think they have just enough kind of all across the board to be a playoff team. And like you said, the AFC West is definitely the best in the AFC. A lot of great talent out there. Ultimately, though, like you said, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, just such a potent combo. I love Russell too, and you love Russell, and it makes us want to pick the Broncos. It really does. But I got to see a little bit out of them before I believe, so I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs. My 3 wild card teams, we are going to have the Baltimore Ravens as one of them. We are going to have the Tennessee Titans as the other one. And then the final one is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers for all the reasons you were talking about, because I love them. I absolutely love them. They're kind of my next it team, as you were kind of hinting at. And oh God, I was biting my tongue the whole time you were talking, because like I really like Herbert. I really like that team overall as far as their depth and the running backs and wide receivers. I love their defense. It's a very good team, and I think that they are going to make some noise. In fact, kind of jumping ahead like you did, the AFC, that championship game is going to be Bills Chargers.
I like it. I like it.
It's going to be Bills Chargers.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It's like maybe we're all gonna look stupid at the end of the year, but it's like, man, the Bills just feel like such an obvious pick. That franchise is so due.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, but when you talk about the Chargers, I mean, I've only been saying since 2015 that that Oregon quarterback is going to be a star, and I was right. Oh, who knows? It's just, it's just maybe it was while Herbert was in high school, but I was right about one.
Yep.
You know what's funny though? Like, I'm a Herbert fan, right? But
Yeah.
it's funny because I was kind of like I did not have high hopes for him at the NFL level, and I again rooting for him the whole time, but I was like, I do not think that this guy is the guy. When he got drafted, I was very happy for him. But man, I was just wrong about both of those guys. Mariota was not the quarterback, although I think he could take. I think I would believe in your Colts pick if Mariota was the quarterback and not Matt Ryan. I'd be in on it. But yeah.
It's funny that I picked the Colts over the Texans, because like I actually believe in Davis Mills. It's my silly like holding on to hope thing. Like I really want to pick the Texans just because I want them to do well, and I want the Browns to do poorly for obvious reasons. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I don't have. I think the Texans will be a bottom of the barrel team, but we'll see.
We'll see.
I think that yeah, that division to me again, it seems like I exited out. It seems like it's a clear cut, where it's probably going to be the Titans. I think the Jaguars could compete, but we'll see. If Matt Ryan has anything left in the tank, that's a pretty solid foundation around him. But I was out on Matt Ryan like the year after. I was out on Matt Ryan the year that they made the Super Bowl. So that's just the haterade in me. That's not hating your pick. That's hating the player.
No, I know what you mean.
But Keith, I'm curious. Let's get it back to the Birds. Let's start wrapping it up a little bit. We're probably in a rush.
Real quick, I'm going to throw my Super Bowl out there.
We haven't done that too. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, let's
go real quick before we go specifically back to that.
I gave my AFC championship actually.
Give your AFC championship.
It's as wild as I went, as safe as I could be for the AFC, with as wild as I wanted to be with the NFC. But the Bills Chiefs I went with for AFC. It's just super sleepy, nothing sexy to it. But the AFC feels like so top heavy, whereas the NFC feels like the bottom is ready to like break through.
Yeah, it is. No, like I said, we were talking about this earlier, and I said much like the NFC is going through that changeover, the AFC already has. So we've kind of got those heavy hitters up top as it stands. For me, my Super Bowl is going to be Bills Rams, and I want to pick the Bills. I wanted to go all LA for the record, and then I still would have picked the Rams, but I think it's going to be Bills Rams, and I think the Bills will finally get over the top, and Buffalo will be just through the moon. So that's where I'm at. It's kind of like I wanted to be crazy, kind of like you were just saying. Want to be crazy, want to pick the Chargers going to the Super Bowl, like something crazy like that. No, we're going to go a little bit chalk, and then we'll see LA take it down again.
Yeah, my Super Bowl, I have the Chiefs versus the Cardinals, and I have no argument against the Bills. They're a very good pick for a reason. just to not pick the same thing as you, I'm going with the Cardinals, or not the Cardinals, the Chiefs, and the Cardinals. And then I'm going to pick the Bills to win the Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding. And I think the Chiefs get one more, and then probably we'll see a bit of a tail off on them. Hopefully, and some other teams start to win. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Chiefs, just because you picked the Bills.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
It's literally the best thing I could come up with. It's late. Why are you guys sleeping on the Raiders? Because Derek Carr. That's why I'm sleeping on the Raiders.
Yeah, until Derek Carr does it again, I'm not gonna pick them to go farther than
noted,
they're gonna make noise.
I've been
they're gonna make noise.
Derek Carr hater since day one, and I'm not afraid to admit it. That's why.
I would say they actually have been.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I want to like him. I want to like him.
I'm willing to eat my words when I make strong opinions. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
It's true.
You know, we can,
Mailata, Couturier, like you've eaten your crow. It's fine. You might be wrong on this one, but for now, you're going to stick on your anti-Derek Carr thing, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
These football takes are borderline hot take, but I believe them. So again, we can unsubscribe at the end of the year if I'm wrong. Let's hope not. Sometimes, I've been taking the safe picks this year.
Look, Joe, we want to believe in Hurts because he's our guy, so we're going to give him a little bit more deference. But no, I mean, you have a boy, Derek Carr or him, like that's fine.
I don't know when I've never said I believe in Hurts. Like I literally started the Eagles. My first thing I said about the Eagles is it's hard to believe in Hurts or something like that. We can roll back the tape. I know for a fact I've said that. You hear what you want to hear, and it's infuriating. But again, we've talked about the Eagles. We know, like, this literally everything has come down to, can Jalen Hurts just manage this team? Just because this Eagles team wins games, it's not going to be because Jalen Hurts all of a sudden finds cannon in his arm. It's going to be because Nick Sirianni can coach him into managing a game. You can win with a game-managing quarterback as long as he can make plays. In Jalen Hurts' case, I only believe he can do that with his legs. I don't know what part of you believe that makes me think I believe in him, like where you get that, but like I have just as many questions, if not more, about Jalen Hurts as you. He cannot throw the deep ball. That is a problem. But when your offense is as stacked as this team is, as far as balance goes, as long as they stay healthy, you're going to have 3, if not 4 running backs that can contribute. You're going to have 3 to 4 wide receivers that can contribute. You have Dallas Goedert, who is primed to come out and bust out of his shell this year. As far as not having anyone around him, he is going to own the middle of that field. This team's ready to win, and it's not because of the quarterback, it's because of everything else around them. So I don't know where you get that we believe in Hurts. Just because we're saying the Eagles can win doesn't mean that we believe in Hurts, but it means that a quarterback can manage a team. The Raiders are in no way, shape, or form as good as a roster as the Eagles. And the Eagles aren't playing in anywhere near as tough as a division as the AFC West. So you have to take in other factors other than just like a one position. By the way.
You mean it's a team sport?
So what are the Phillies doing? 2-1.
It's 2-1. Top 8. They just Noel's out of the game after 6 2/3.
Joe, you're my favorite, by the way.
We'll see. Brogdon's in the game now. So.
Well, that gives that game.
Well, they got through Alvarado and Brad Hand, so like.
I dropped my pen. Keith, who do you think leads? Give me your wide receiver. Who's the most touchdowns? Who has the most yards? And who has the most catches this year for this team?
All right, so
it could be all 3 the same. It could be 3 different. It could be Dallas Goedert could be in there if you think he takes one of them. Doesn't have to be wide receivers.
So this is what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking that AJ Brown has the most touchdowns, but I think Smith might actually have the most receptions and yards. Quez Watkins is going to be very close behind them with yards. because he's just going to blow the top open a few times. But I don't think he's going to get a majority of the shares of the catches, because we also have, Dallas Goddard that's going to take away some red zone, some receptions, things like that. We have enough to spread around, and it's going to be difficult for everybody to one person lead all three. So that's kind of where I'm at. I feel like that's kind of my AJ Brown with touchdowns and Smith with both receptions and yards.
Yeah, I don't know about the Quez Watkins being close to Smith or Brown. I don't know if that'd be a good or bad thing if that is the case. But the way you said it was at least a good thing. So we'll see.
Yeah, he's going to blow off the top, and that's what I'm thinking. He's going to get quite a few long touchdowns as far as that goes, and long catches that'll total him up further than maybe like AJ Brown and Smith are catching, 6-7 balls a game, something like that. You know what I mean?
That all being said, I think that AJ Brown ends up with the most touchdowns and yards this year, and I think that Devontae Smith will have the most catches. I think that Devontae Smith kind of lends himself to a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. He may even end up with more yards at the end of the year, but I think that he is borderline the perfect wide receiver for Jalen Hurts, because he can do just everything, and he can get open in just about every ways. And I think that he can be, for a guy that's arm is lacking, I think that Devontae Smith can make up for that, and just sheer ways to get open. And his route running as a rookie was something that it just blew me. As someone who believed in him, it still blew me away to just see how well he did it. And I think that route running is just something that only improves in a wide receiver such as Devontae Smith. And then all the other things are going to get better as well. So I just think that, look, I'm a Devontae Smith fanboy, like, admittedly. So, it is what it is. Like, I see Renfro equals Smith. As someone who, Hunter Renfro, like, saved my fantasy season last year, I just disagree with that. I think if you're looking at numbers, if you're looking at just numbers, then maybe statistically you're not far off. But I think just as far as actual playmaking ability, I think that Devontae Smith is wrong. Call me a fanboy if I'm wrong. That's fine. I'll accept that.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all.
But
pedigree alone.
But yeah, as far as this team goes this year, it's going to be hoping for a fun season. Obviously, injuries could derail this team. Poor quarterback play could derail this team. We shall see. I think that like, really, as long as this team doesn't get hit with like a swarm of injuries, they're deep at a lot of positions. And honestly, even if Jalen Hurts goes down, there's not a huge drop off between him and Gardner Minshew. And that's not to start a quarterback controversy as much as it's calling Jalen Hurts what it is. There's no reason to see Gardner Minshew this year. You know what you have out of him. As far as Jalen Hurts, it's finding out what you have. And we'll get the answer by the end of the year. It's pretty much that simple. Like, we will get that answer by the end of the year. Or we'll probably move on. Yeah. Anything else as far as the Eagles, Keith?
I want to ask you one more stat-based question.
Ask me all of them. I'm here for it.
Over under 25.5 touchdowns passing for Jalen Hurts.
Let me see real quick where we at here. Last year, in 15 games, he has 16 touchdowns. 25.
25.5.
passing.
Mm-hmm. Just passing.
25 passing. I want to say over, but that's tough.
It's tough. A very tough. I'd say it's a good number. It's a very good number.
Seeing 16. I don't know that just adding a couple, that just adding AJ Brown accounts for, 10 more. But are the improvements that he's made in this season enough to account for 10 more with the improvements that this team has made? What do you think?
I'm going over.
I knew you were going over. That's kind of more another reason why I was thinking under too.
I knew where you're going with it.
I tell you what, we obviously hope it's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. You also hope that game's. I mean, I guess he only really missed one game last year because he sat out the last game. But technically missed 2 games. I think Burrow is a better quarterback than that's you in chat. What are we talking about? Burrow's definitely a better quarterback.
Yeah, well, I was like, last year was his first, full offensive year. Of course, 16 touchdowns. He was learning on the job, and that's what I'm saying. It gives us a reason to be positive. And he's like, well, Burrow's first full year was last year, but he tore his ACL in his first full year technically, and then had another, in his second year got there. Jalen Hurts didn't have 10 games in season 1, I don't think. You know what I mean? It's different. But I also think Burrow's just a better quarterback. I'm okay to say that.
Yeah, in 2020, Hurts started 15 games, actually. So, yeah, he's started more games than Burrow throughout his career, I would say. So, yeah, I don't know that doesn't really help your point all that much. I'm sorry, Keith.
I still said Burrows was a better.
Yeah,
better
no. At the end of the day, yeah, we're all still.
Yeah.
Burrow is and will always be the better quarterback. Burrow has Hall of Fame potential, and he's not there yet. And I'm not trying to build a hype chain for a Cincinnati quarterback, but yeah, I mean, again, Jalen Hurts' ceiling, in my opinion, is he can be a successful game managing quarterback. I think he can be you see what Kirk Cousins is. You saw what Nick Foles was. I think he can be better than Kirk Cousins. I don't know that he definitely will never be Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. But if Jalen Hurts can merely stay healthy for seasons on end, then that already puts him, as far as a regular season quarterback, over Nick Foles. And at that point, that's what, if you're always having fielding a good team around him, or at least in these first couple years, we'll see. But ultimately, I know Jalen Hurts' flaws, and I've been here day one, touting them. I think that there's always going to be, a ceiling that he has, and it's going to be a challenge for the Eagles to get around that. For me, it's the intangibles, and we'll see how valuable they are. We'll see this year. It's that simple.
By the way, Joe Burrow has 26 career starts, and Jalen Hurts has 19 career starts. Just to throw that out there. Just bad mood stats there, but it still has no bearing on the fact.
I read games, not games started. Sorry.
Yeah, game started. Yeah. But that's where that goes with me. So I still think. I mean, that anyway. But irregardless. That's where I'm at. So I feel like that's where we hinge. That's kind of where I'm at with the Eagles. Jalen Hurts, if he takes a step forward, this is a playoff team. This is a division-winning team. If he doesn't, well, no, we're not going to be either. So, yeah, man, I'm just excited in general, though, that Sunday we get to say football's back.
Yeah, and the best part about this is if Jalen Hurts isn't the guy, then you're at least somewhat in a position to go get your next guy. So it's, whether it be you use picks to get a trade, you use, there's always ways to do things. And quarterbacks now move more than ever. So Who knows? Maybe Patrick Mahomes comes available next year. Let's see.
Yeah, right. We'll see.
So, yeah, I just think that we'll see. As far as this team goes, it's just I'm rooting for her. So it doesn't mean that I believe in him. I'm just rooting for him. But
Yeah,
anyway,
exactly.
Anything else tonight, Keith?
Nope, that's it, man.
Any final thoughts? Any nonsense? Any?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm.
Oh, and Brogdon blew the game.
Well, yeah, I already said that. You missed that when I said it.
No, sorry.
It was a sacrifice fly off a base runner that Brad Hand had stranded out there or left out there.
I'd like to say that I'm surprised, but I'm not.
I'm not either.
I don't understand why Connor Brogdon even gets pitched in. I mean, honestly, that's a bad managerial move. It's probably one of Rob Thompson's first big no-nos, but I don't care who's available in the pen. Connor Brogdon has never came in an important situation and delivered.
It's fair.
This guy it's a guy that I had high hopes on, and he just sucks. So I don't know what else. It's just another indictment on how bad the Phillies farm system has been through the years, that you have to constantly go out and pick up relievers on the streets to do better than these young guys should be filling in big roles and succeeding. And in particular with Brogdon, he has just fallen flat.
I'm glad we get to end on such a positive note.
So, yeah, I hate Connor Brogdon. He has failed.
I noticed.
No, because that's a guy that I 2 seasons ago was saying he could be the closer of the future, and he just sucks. So that's, yeah. As far as nonsense goes, yeah, it kind of got nothing, man. We're I'm honestly focused on sports. Just like between the Sixers, solidifying their backups and adding toughness and depth, pretty much all off season. Obviously, still some question marks with that team, but they have certainly made improvements, such as the Eagles and the Phillies. Now it's just like a wait and see mode. But it's game. Like, you got to be beating the Marlins. This is nonsense. You can't be putting scrub Connor Brogdon in. I'd rather Connor Barwin pitch. Connor Brogdon. But
I don't know about that one, but yeah.
It's Joe. We're not a soccer show. You can say the Union as much as you want, but you want me to just read what other people say?
I was saying I'll do it.
If you want to give anyone, personally message Keith and give him. But I hate soccer, and this is never going to be a soccer show. So this isn't like I don't.
Listen,
talk about soccer.
We'll put the respect on it. Yeah, great.
I couldn't care less about the Union. I'm sorry. I'm rooting for them, but you don't want I'm gonna. I sound stupid talking about sports I do know. You want me to talk about sports I don't know?
I propose every time he asks something about the Union, you give a Fusion minute.
I don't do that anymore for a reason. Because no one gave a shit about it. I don't even give a shit about the Union or the Fusion minute anymore. They're a Korean-based team.
That's true.
Overwatch.
But anyway,
sponsored by Coca-Cola, by the way.
We do enjoy Coca-Cola.
No, I'm in a great mood. This has been great. I don't want to come off as grumpy.
I would say we've had fun.
I'm rooting for the Union. I literally, Joe, I'll send you a screenshot. I said to Keith, "Do you have a Union minute?" And then I put in parentheses for Joe. He said, "Screw you." He said, "Screw you, Joe," not me. But no, I'm just kidding.
I did actually.
But
yeah, it's been a great show.
But and for the record, let's see did they win? They've been a team that really kind of falls flat towards the end too. So
they've actually been winning lately though.
But I don't put that negative energy out there. I'm rooting for them. I'm not gonna act like I want them to win for you guys. I know Union fans are fucking nuts, and I want them to win. I've seen what Union games are like as far as from the outside. I'm sorry, and this is not me. This isn't like 2011 Anthony Pinto where I would literally make fun of soccer. I'm beyond that. I watch esports. I am over myself. I get it. I love people that just love competition at every level that they can get it. I get that. watching soccer for me is like watching League of Legends, and League of Legends is the most popular esport worldwide. Soccer is the most popular sport worldwide. For whatever reason, I love sports. I love esports. I hate the most popular one at both sides. It's not them. It's me. I used to say it was them. I've changed. I've grown. I've matured. I've matured. That was the end of my rant.
Joe, I would say Joe gotcha. It's fine. It's okay.
What is...
No, I was gonna say as far as he got riled up. It's okay though. It's okay.
No, I'm not riled up.
He can't hurt you.
I'm just creating content. Creating content for the people. And remember, I tried my hardest when it was COVID AF and the Union were the first game back. I followed that game, and man, I was bored. But I still made updates for the page. But we'll always remember that one game that I watched.
It's true.
But yeah, that was my final thought. That was my Union rant instead of a Union minute.
There you go.
Keith, I already asked you. Still nothing.
Good night, Joe. That's my final thought.
Keith's got to wake up early. He's a grumpy.
I gotta be up at 4.
He's got a sport that, props to you for wearing that color, even in the non-work days.
Literally staring at the game. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. Oh wow. Didn't even think about that. All right, that's fair.
But all right, guys, this has been a fun one. Chat, you have been electric as always. Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to everyone out there, both live and on demand. Catch us Sunday. Probably here. Maybe I'll do a Facebook Live. Maybe I'll do both. Stay tuned. Sunday, pre-Eagles game, there will be content being delivered. Follow us, facebook.com/warroomphilly. Turn notifications on there. Follow us. Do the whole 9. Make sure you get alerted every time we get a post. We don't post often so that we can draw everyone to our post and get some conversation. So do that. And then obviously keep your notifications turned on for right here. We will make a post. I'm probably going to do the Facebook Live because, we like to get the rally the troops on Facebook for pregame. So check. It'll probably be, it will. I'll just make the decision. We're going to do, especially because Keith, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have you work out.
Probably won't make it. I probably will not make it pregame. So
but we're going to just say we definitely won't. And it'll be on Facebook, facebook.com/warroomphilly. How's that sound, Keith? So I'm giving you the day off.
I like it.
So, and you know what? If not, we can. I'll make. I digress. I can probably fix some things anyway. So, chat again Sunday. Follow us on Facebook. Watch that show. Let's get hype. It's going to be hopefully a fun and exciting Eagles season. It's going to be hopefully a fun and exciting end of this Philly season. And then just around the corner, we got basketball, and that's it. There's only 3 sports this year in Philadelphia. The 4th is the Union. And I will try my best to give updates as I will, and I'm rooting for them. So, on that note, let's put a bow on tonight's show. I'm Anthony Pinto.
I'm Keith Malashevsky.
And we are out of here. Go Union.